After a big year of traveling to several more national parks across the United States, it's time for some repairs and upgrades before I return to the road in 2026. So I've made a list of everything that I want to try to get done to the van before a very special short trip I have planned in February. And the first thing on the list is replacing my driver's side mirror. I accidentally crunched it into a tree while filming my last video, so I bought a replacement mirror online and I'm going to tear the old one off now. It's not supposed to do this, but because of the way I broke it, I can just kind of lift this right off, so easy enough. If there's anything this van has taught me, it's that having a vehicle with the most simplistic parts possible is really the best way to go. If this thing had like wiring, if it was an electronic mirror, there is very little chance I would have been able to do it this easily. Okay, not bad if I do say so myself. Just gotta snap the plastic back on and we're done. Well, it's definitely a relief to have a working mirror again, but as satisfying as it is to make some of these smaller fixes myself, this whole time I've really kind of just felt like a fraud. Despite all of the work I've done to this van, replacing tail lights and mirrors and radios, any real mechanical work just felt like it was out of the question considering my lack of experience. Until now, I guess. I know it's simple, but I'm finally going to buy a jack and some stands in anticipation of doing some more basic maintenance to the van myself. Let me just interrupt for a second here. I mainly wanted to use the new jack and stands to change the oil myself for the first time, but those plans were kind of thrown out the window when I recently brought my van to the mechanic because they noticed an oil leak coming from the radiator, among a bunch of other stuff, but we're not gonna talk about that right now. All I can say is it's mostly been taken care of, but in fixing the leak, they changed my oil in the process, so I'll have to wait for doing that myself some other time. However, I was made aware of an issue under the hood that I should be able to fix pretty easily. Okay, so underneath this plastic housing right here is the engine air filter, which basically just kind of prevents debris and dust from entering the engine itself, which, you know, is pretty bad over time. But this cap is actually cracked and needs replacing. It is pretty small in the grand scheme of things. It's not exactly the most dire repair, but I figure it's worth doing sooner rather than later because I'll be going to Utah in the spring and that will kick up a bunch of dirt and dust that I certainly don't want getting into my engine. I figured I could do this myself because it doesn't exactly seem like rocket science, so let's put the new cap on. Damn, maybe it is rocket science. The replacement part cost $65, which seems insane to me for just a little piece of plastic, but it's definitely cheaper than getting it done at the mechanic, and I figured it was easy enough to do myself. Now that the replacement part is on, I realize just how tight this actually should be fitting to the housing, so it actually makes me feel a lot better that I've done that. And now I can hopefully move on to some other stuff. Okay, I am finally going to use my new jack and stands today. I know this isn't really the ideal place to do it, right next to the busy road, but this is the only level part of my driveway. So I don't really have much of a choice, and I don't really want to procrastinate any longer than I already have been, because honestly, I've just been kind of scared of doing this. But I have good reason to be nervous. This is a 3-ton jack, meaning it's capable of lifting about 6,000 pounds. The base weight of a Chevy Express is just around 5,000 pounds, and with the weight of my furniture and everything else inside, this should be powerful enough to hold everything up to get it onto the jack stands. Feels like I can't get the van lifted high enough to get a jack stand under there. I don't know what my problem is. Let's lower it, I'm scared. Spooky. Okay, so I've regrouped a bit. Everywhere I read had people saying just to put the jack on some blocks to raise it up higher so you don't have a higher starting point, and that would raise the van higher. I'm gonna try it one more time, but I feel like it's not really working out for me. I don't know, guys. I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm scared. I think instead of blocks under the entire jack, they just mean the jack point, like small little blocks, wood blocks, where it hits the actual frame. Nope. Nope. Fuck. I kind of guess that means I'm gonna just crawl under the van and do what I came here to do, because I cannot put this off anymore. Wow, what a waste, dude. I feel so stupid. Feel free to tell me what I'm doing wrong here, because I've given up. Regardless of the whole jack situation, I am still going to go ahead and use this time to do some rust maintenance on the undercarriage of the van. This is something I'll be doing in 2 parts, scraping the existing rust off the undercarriage as best as I can, and then spraying it with a coat of protective FluidFilm to prevent any future rust from developing. This is something I really should be doing regularly, and hopefully I have the jack figured out by next winter so I can recoat the underside a little more comfortably. I know trying to mitigate rust is always gonna kind of be a losing battle, but I figure it's better than nothing, right? Now that I've checked that off, it's time for the most exciting item on the to-do list, because instead of maintenance or a repair, I'm actually making an upgrade to the van and installing some running boards. So this side step to get into the van is pretty shallow, and also a piece of it has sadly broken off. So I figured it might be a good idea to add some running boards, which may end up being useful even sooner than I thought, because this weekend I'm heading up to New Hampshire with a few friends to go skiing. But first I've got to install these. After reading the instructions, it looks like this should be pretty simple. My first step is lining these brackets up with some pre-existing holes along the underside of the rocker panels and bolting them in. Then, once I've got the brackets on, the running boards get fastened on top of those, and that's it. Well, I'm pretty happy with this. It's very functional. I actually think it looks kind of nice too. And I've also installed another similar board on the driver's side, which should make hopping out of the van a little less awkward for me as well. Now that the running boards are installed, it's time to take care of some of the smaller items on this list, like some paint touch-ups and new windshield wiper blades, before I start packing up to drive north. This is the Loose Moose, where me and 4 friends will be staying this weekend to go skiing at the nearby Black Mountain in Jackson, New Hampshire. We're still waiting for everyone to arrive, but before they do, let me show you around. This little chalet-style house will be our home for the weekend, and besides plenty of bedrooms and a kitchen ready for our post-ski dinners, it also has a fire pit and a hot tub. Last night it actually ended up snowing quite a bit, but we have all made it over to the mountain, and it looks like it's going to be a great day for skiing. But while I have just been sitting here in the van struggling to get my ski boots on, I figured it would be a good time to make some coffee thanks to this video's sponsor. I can't believe I get to say that, by the way. This device is an Out-In Mino portable espresso machine, and I actually use this quite regularly, both at home and while traveling. So today I'm gonna make myself an iced latte before I get on the lift. And yes, I said iced. I'm from New England. Not only is this machine portable, but as someone who previously felt intimidated by the idea of making espresso at home, I find it super easy to use. And specifically, I have enjoyed making these simple lattes with a bit of maple syrup, milk, and a cup of hot brewed espresso. I would usually pay like $6 for this kind of thing at my local coffee shop, so it has been really nice to just be able to make it myself whenever I want. And if you're interested in making coffee like this, you can get 10% off your own Out-In Mino portable espresso maker by using my link in the description, which I also can't believe I get to say that. Okay, boots are on, coffee is hitting. So I'm gonna head out there and meet up with my friends at the lifts. It's been over a decade since I've been skiing, so we're not exactly doing anything extreme on this trip, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm just here to have a good time and not break any bones. And after getting in a few decent runs, there's no better way to have fun and avoid injury like hanging out at the après ski party.
If you're really bored, you can go over to Attitash and hang out there at the après party. Oh shit, there's no après party there. That's right. Okay. Anyway, hang out here. Very excited to have you all here.
I love you. See you later.
Okay. The double chairlift has been off for a long time. There we go. Yeah. Back on.
Being able to ski right back to the van was a very cool experience. Getting all our gear ready now, and then we're gonna head back to the cabin. Definitely take advantage of the hot tub. I had so much fun going skiing with everyone, and me and the van both made it back home in one piece, so as far as I'm concerned, it was a complete success. I know I wasn't really successful at lifting the van up with the jack, which is unfortunate, but once I figure that out, I hope this year can be the start of doing a lot more of my own maintenance on the van. As you can probably tell just by looking at it, the cold weather really takes a toll on this thing, but I'm still trying to embrace winter by taking some of these smaller trips in the van. And speaking of, I will be heading out in about a week to go on another cold but brief trip to sort of an unusual destination, but I'm pretty excited about it, so I'll see you there.